Just when this couple from New Zealand thought they had lost their beloved Beagle, another couple intervened. But before we start, please make sure to subscribe to m&rtv and hit the bell so you never miss any upload from us. Also, leave a like right now. One of the best creatures that the Almighty created is an animal. They are not human but possess the best of humanity and emotions. These creatures can reciprocate the love you show to them in the best possible manner. For once, your human friends might not be able to understand your actions and emotions. These four-legged friends of yours will definitely be able to do that. We love caressing our pets and playing with their fur, but imagine that one fine day you wake up and is not able to find your beloved dog sleeping next to you. Scared? Did your heart skip a beat? Something similar happened with this family when their beloved family beagle Benny went missing. Will they be able to find him? Does this loyal friend of theirs make his way home? A couple named Matt and Grace were the residents of Newman Hall Household, Wellington, New Zealand. They were enjoying every bit of happiness that life offered them. They both were independent and had secured jobs, and most importantly loved their spouse. They love traveling and have traveled to some of the exotic locations. As a couple, they together wanted a big family. They wanted kids, and they fulfilled this desire of theirs in a unique manner. Yes, you read that right. It's not big fat family, but a big pet family. They had kids that 2, 3 in number. They owned not so human children, but their dear four-legged babies. They had 2 beagles and a cat as part of their happy family. The beagles were named Benny and Spike, and the cute feline was called Peanut. While everyone in town admired this family, soon only they were struck by a tragedy. As both Matt and Grace were working, they had asked a dog walker who would take Benny and Spike for a walk daily. While the beagles went for a walk, the lazy cat would nap. Every afternoon, both the beagles would wait for their dog walker, and as the clock struck the hour, they would be taken for the walk, and then would be dropped back home. This routine was left undisturbed until the day something disturbed it. One Friday afternoon, as always, the dog walker picked up the beagles and took them for a stroll. They often went to the Belmont Regional Park for their walk. A lot of dog walkers would visit this park with their pets and had a gala time there. While the pets would frolic around, their respective dog walkers would share a talk. Things were going just as usual. Suddenly, the unusual happened. Benny was playing with a stick and suddenly he started smelling the grass. Following the scent, he immediately began running. As the dog walker saw this sight, she too runs after Benny. After following Benny for a kilometer, she lost track of him. Benny ran deep into the woods and could not be located. What was the thing that took Benny along with it? Where was Benny? It was a daily ritual. When Matt and Grace would return home from work, they would be greeted by 3 wagging tails, and Benny would be the one standing at the door for them. Surprisingly, that day they found Spike at the door and he was quiet. He did not jump or lick them. This was a strange sight. Soon only the couple realized that someone was missing. Benny. Where's Benny? Matt and Grace threw their laptop bags right there and started yelling, "Benny, Benny." They were scared of not getting any response. After searching the entire house, when they couldn't locate Benny, they called the dog walker and asked about the whereabouts of their eldest child. Surely the couple wasn't prepared for the dog walker's words. Dog walker's word frightened the duo to the core. They couldn't believe their ears. The dog walker left the poor dog alone in the woods. All sorts of thoughts occupied the duo's mind. Where was Benny? Was he all right? Did he meet with an accident? Or wild beasts attacked him? Did they lose their dear child? Grace couldn't bear the pain and was in tears. Will the family be able to reunite with their missing dog, or will they be left to themselves? Matt and Grace immediately drove to the park where Benny was last seen. They searched every corner of the park. The broken parents looked under every bench, went past all the swings, and even peeped into hollow tree trunks to get even a single clue about their pup. But unfortunately, there were no traces of Benny. However, Matt came up with an idea that might help in finding Benny. Matt thought that on smelling his scent, Benny might be able to locate the way out of the woods, in case he might have lost that. Matt parked his car in the parking lot and slept there. He kept the doors of his cars open, hoping that Benny would jump into the car sometime at night. Matt slept for a number of days in the parking lot, but unfortunately Benny never hopped in. Grace and Matt were not ready to give up hope. They just prayed that wherever their beloved four-legged friend is, he's doing good and is not in trouble. Though they had searched the woods, they had waited in the parking lot, they were still persistent that Benny would return home. Yet how was the question. Quite obvious to the nature of parents, Matt and Grace were worried about the well-being of their kid Benny. They knew he was very homely and a lazy dog who would just jump up on your lap and roll over on his back for cuddling. How would such a domestic dog cope in the wild forest scared them. They were sure that he must be feeling very lonely and would be frightened of his surroundings. Days passed by, but there were no signs of Benny. Few people asked the couple to accept the fact that they had lost their poor pup. He was probably dead. But as they say, parents are parents. The immense amount of love and care they have for us cannot come from any other human. Matt and Grace were still yet to find their pooch with the help of their family and friends. As there weren't any positive results, they took their search to an unexpected level. The depressed couple started a Facebook page in the name Bring Benny Home. The page garnered a wide attention and people came to know about the story of a missing beagle. Yet till only the family members were searching for Benny. But now everyone was looking for this beagle. Did it mean that Benny was about to return home? Or was this the mere calm before the storm? It won't be wrong to say that nearly half of New Zealand joined hand in the aim of finding this missing beagle. Hundreds of people came forward to help the poor couple reunite with the dog. Almost every dog walker who visited the park looked for Benny. Yet it all couldn't help. Rather, something horrifying was coming up. Things were already distressing for the couple, but another news came shocking to them. The weather was taking a sudden shift, and the cold breeze was about to hit New Zealand. This news made Matt and Grace lose patience over their dog. They were in a state of panic, thinking whether he would have eaten something in all these days or not, and if not, how will the poor soul survive the storm? To calm their trembling soul, Matt and Grace tried to be optimistic. They thought that if it is even possibility that any other Good Samaritan had adopted their baby, maybe he now was in a different home and loving parents. Though these thoughts too broke their heart, they had no other choice. To keep their drowning spirits high, they even announced a reward of $500 to whosoever would return them their lost dog. Will this bait work? Not only was Matt and Grace in pain, but two other members of their family were also deeply saddened. Spike and Peanut too were missing their sibling. They did not play around the house, nor did they eat their meals on time. They would just snuggle up in their bedding the whole day. Though they could not speak, their actions clearly depicted that they were mourning. When the chances of finding Benny were about to touch negligible, Alicia and Justin, who were good friends with Matt and Grace and lived in the nearby residence, stepped in. Though they have been looking for Benny for several times in the park, they thought to give it one last try. Were they the knights in shining armor? Will they be able to find Benny? Alicia and Justin could not see their friends in this much pain. Alicia recalls how Grace would keep on looking at her old pictures with Benny and would sigh deeply. To prevent their friend from slipping into depression, they thought to give Benny one last try. But this time they knew that they would be searching for him in a different way. Will this different plan work out? Alicia and Justin were determined to locate Benny this time. They again searched the places they had looked for Benny earlier, but this time they did it more thoroughly. Belmont Park, which was precisely the last location of Benny, was a huge park, which had small hills, narrow forested lanes. While on a mission to find the lost beagle, this couple even climbed a hill, and what they found next was unbelievable. While hunting for Benny, the duo came across a ravine. Not that this was the first time they crossed it, but as it was rough and seemed difficult to climb, they always bypassed it. This time, surprisingly, they thought to climb it. The couple did not know what was waiting for them on the other side of the mini waterfall. Alicia and Justin climbed the hard rock mountain and reached the top of the ravine, and their eyes couldn't believe what they saw next. There he was, Benny, the lost dear beagle of their friend. Almost after 2 weeks, Benny was located some 100 feet away from the place his dog walker lost track of him. Alicia and Justin were on cloud 9 on finding Benny. In their happiness, they did not realize that the poor doggo's leash got stuck with a rock, which made it impossible for him to move any further. Then Alicia climbed up to him and carefully picked him up in her arms and took out the stubborn leash. Benny couldn't thank his rescuers enough and started wagging his tail at them. Alicia and Justin took out their phone and made a video of Benny. They instantly shared it with Matt and Grace and even posted it on the Facebook page. Matt and Grace had tears of joy. Their kid who went missing was at last located, and that too in such a miraculous way. Everyone who was part of finding Benny was overjoyed at the announcement. Alicia and Justin, with utmost care, climbed down the ravine. They made sure that Benny doesn't suffer any injuries in the way. As soon as Benny saw Matt and Grace, she jumped on them. This was literally what the couple had been missing since the afternoon their beloved pet went missing. Matt and Grace gave a tight hug to Benny. Even Spike and Peanut joined in the moment. Matt and Grace would remain grateful to Alicia and Justin forever. While everyone lost hope with Benny, these two individuals did the unbelievable for their couple friend. They owed their happiness about being a big fat complete family to their neighboring friends. While everything seemed to be perfect then, something bothered Matt and Grace. Benny looked extremely ill. His condition was heartbreaking. Nearly 2 weeks being deprived of food made him lean. He had scratches and minor injuries at his paws, which might have been caused while he was trying to escape that space. Not only this, he was untidy and had fleece in his fur. The couple immediately took the dog to the vet. The vet told the couple that they need not worry, as Benny wasn't in that bad of condition as they thought. Consuming no food for days had made him pale, and he had lost nearly 6.5 pounds of weight due to starvation. However, he was well hydrated and his wounds could be treated, and all he needed was some rest for a few days. More than the medical help, Benny needed his parents' love. All these days of seclusion from his family made him weaker than being on an empty stomach. However, as directed by the vet, the couple took good care of their dog and fed him healthy food. Moreover, they also made sure that he got proper rest. Sooner or later, Benny started to eat like before. The doctors infused some fluids in his body, and he soon started to gain desirable weight as well. As his health got stable, he even started playing with Spike and Peanut. He would wag his tail and would roam around the entire house. The lost and happy Benny was back to his basic existence. Grace and Matt officially thanked Alicia and Justin over Facebook. They informed over social media how the couple managed to rescue their dog. The way they climbed up the tough hill and crossed the waterfall in the deadly woods to find their dog was truly appreciable. Any amount of thanking the couple presented to the rescuers wasn't sufficient to tell them what a big deal they did for this family. Matt and Grace presented their heartfelt gratitude to all the followers of the page Bring Benny Home. They not only shared some pictures of Benny, but also showed their happiness and respect to all the people who had walked along with them at the park in an attempt to find Benny. Yet this wasn't all. Matt threw a special barbecue for all the supporters of the mission Bring Benny Home. All his friends and relatives and his neighbors joined the family at the special feast. Nothing could have been better than organizing a party like this to thank your helpers. Everyone who came to this treat met Benny and showered him with their blessings. After the specially organized barbecue feast, Grace uploaded this adorable picture of Benny over her social media platform. She even captioned it as "Benny may still be a little pooped after his party yesterday. However so tired the doggo may be, the satisfaction with which he was dozing off steals our heart." Life went back to normal for the family. They were once again the same loving family of 5. Grace and Matt spend their weekends picnicking with their 3 children. This wasn't the end yet. The Facebook page which the family made to find Benny was now being used to find other missing dogs in New Zealand. Isn't that just beautiful?